Welcome back to the Hockey Hub. We've got a lot of guests on our show. We just heard from Jim McBride of the Boston Globe, and we're switching gears a little bit into the Bruins alumni and our special guest, Frank Simonetti, big part of that Bruins alum. Frank, thank you so much for joining us to talk about the wonderful season you've had and some upcoming events that fans should be taking note of, some of them coming really quickly. Thanks so much for giving us your time this morning.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being with you this morning.
Fans, I was telling Kasey's from the Tampa area, and just like myself from Toronto, when I first joined the Boston organization and the city of Boston, I knew what I knew, but I didn't really know what I know now about how tight and how loyal and how intertwined Boston sports are to the community, not just as fans, but in terms of helping the community and helping its members. The Bruins organization, the alumni organization, such a big part of that. And not just when something happens, but forever, so to speak. Just, not just to be in the spotlight, but once that story or that moment has passed, they continue to help the families and the people that would benefit from that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the season that you guys have had, a 33-game season, and you guys have helped raise over $1 million for New England charitable organizations. How proud of you are you of that, and what was the season like?
Well, thank you. The Bruins alumni have been around for 56 years now, reaching out and helping the community, giving back. It was founded by Eddie Sanford back in 1968. John Busick ran it for years. Bob Sweeney ran it. Rick Middleton ran it. And every year we've built a bigger following and reached further out into the community. And this year we had, as you mentioned, 33 games in all states but Vermont. We're still trying to grab a game in Vermont, but we, for the second year in a row, have helped raise over $1 million for local charities. And some of these charities, like the Mass Down Syndrome Congress, have been with us for 21 years now. And together we've helped them raise over $2 million. And many of these groups rely on the funds that these games generate for them to keep their operations going. We're some of the biggest parts of their funding for their organization. So we become very close friends with a lot of these players and the organizers, and we look forward to getting back together with them each season to create new memories.
Well, that Sophia's totally right. The first things that I heard getting into Boston was about the Boston community, and then luckily it wasn't for the alumni, unfortunately, but I got to be a part of a sled event, USA Hockey sled event, and just seeing it at a small rink, seeing Boston Bruin alumni come and be a part of it and how much it means to them. Can you just speak to the growth that you guys have seen season by season? I mean, $1 million this year is tremendous, and the fact that you're spreading out throughout New England, and hopefully you do get to Vermont by next season.
Well, we're fortunate in Boston. It has a storied sports community. All the sports have been at the top of their game at one time or another, and the Bruins have been on an incredible run for the last 15 years. But we are also fortunate that many of the players, the NHL players that played here, retire here, whether they grew up here or not. So we have a great base to draw from of alumni players. And we have a very high percentage of players who did grow up locally, who went to BC, BU. I went to Norwich University in Vermont. I grew up 10 miles from the Garden. So being part of the Bruins community has been in my DNA since we started watching the Bruins on Channel 38 with rabbit ears back when I was a kid. And because of the strong bonds that we have, and hockey players in general really like to give back. I mean, the fans supported us for so many years, and it's the least we can do than to reach out and help them grow. And one of the things that we've done in the last couple of years is expand our organization to add a video component. We record each game. We have a play-by-play announcer that's been with us for over 20 years, in John Horrigan, that calls the games in the arenas. We have play-by-play. We have sponsor interviews, we have promoter interviews, we have organizational interviews, and we create this video package for them that gets released about 6 to 8 weeks after the game. And tied in with that is an enhanced social media component to our organization, where now we're helping these organizations promote their games. We're helping them sell their tickets. We're helping them raise awareness leading up to their games and after their games with YouTube clips that highlight some of the best parts of the games they just played. And it gives them a couple of things. It gives them the opportunity to relive their experience, but it also gives them the opportunity to reach back out into their communities to raise awareness and raise additional funds from that game all during the year up until their following year. So hats off to the organization. We have Karen Warnowski, who's our alumni coordinator, Mark Willand video, and all of our players. And I will say we've had 57 different Bruins alumni suit up over those 33 games, including 14 members of the 2011 Stanley Cup team that played with us back in December 7th. We had 11 different NHL alumni participate with us, 4 American Hockey League pros, and Alex Carpenter, Bobby Carpenter's daughter, who plays in the Professional Women's Hockey League, suited up with us in one game. So we're very inclusive from that standpoint. We want as many NHL and Bruins alumni to suit up, and that brings added attention to the games when there's somebody new making their debut, like PJ Stock made his debut this year. People loved him when he played, couldn't wait to see him when he came out to dress with us.
Oh man, I was just about to pivot to a question, which I think I'll get there, but a little note on Peach. He's been a guest on our show. I've talked about him a lot. I used to co-host a show with him in Toronto, Frank, and he is just a ball of, I don't know what, energy, fun, laughs, smiles, a little immaturity in there, but all in the best possible way. I call him my little brother, even though he's older than me, but such a fun time to be around.
DJ's not shy. We'll just leave it at that. You know?
I think he's participating in your Bruins Foundation Beef It Heroes Cup, June 6th to 8th. Is that true? Can you tell us a little bit more about that event?
Yeah, it's this Friday. It actually starts on the 5th, Thursday night. They start their first game, and it's the Boston Bruins Foundation working together with the Healing Heroes Foundation to put on this event that supports first responders, law enforcement, and military health and wellness. It's presented by WellPoint this year, and it's astounding. It's an astounding event. Last year, 2 years ago, raised almost $450,000. Last year it was canceled because of a compressor issue, but it's held at the New England Sports Center. It's played over 18 rinks. There's 188 games that'll be played this coming weekend with 13 divisions, almost 2,000 players all coming together to raise awareness for the health and wellness of our first responders. And the Bruins Bruins alumni will be part of their opening ceremonies. So 10 alumni will face off against the high individual fundraisers. So there are 104 teams, the most they've ever had. So it's a record there. And each player and each team is incented to raise money. And that money, if they hit a certain point, can be donated back to the charities of their choice. So there's, like for instance, the Worcester Fire Department has raised over $64,000 this year through this game, and that money will come back to them once the event closes down. So you've got that going on, and so our 10 players suiting up against their high fundraisers will be Andrew Raycroft, Kenny Hodge, Mark Mowers, Bob Sweeney, Mike Motto, Bruce Crowder, Dave Shaw, Tuukka Rask, Bruce Shoebottom, and PJ Stock. Now, PJ, Andrew Raycroft, and Mike Motto will be there the whole weekend. They'll be integrating into different teams, and they've done this for many years. And all three of them are great with people, great in public, and this is open to the public. And they have food trucks, they have Winnebagos, they tailgate all weekend long. a couple years ago, I was training for the Pan Mass Challenge, and I rode by on a beautiful Saturday morning about 9 o'clock. The grills were going, the music was playing, possibly alcoholic beverages were flowing. I couldn't confirm that from my vantage point, but I'm assuming there were. And they start playing games at 6:30 in the morning over 8 rinks, and they finish up at 11 o'clock at night for 2.5 days straight. It's an unbelievable undertaking. Johnny Whiteside from the Bruins Foundation is one of the key organizers, and they anticipate raising more than $500,000 this year. Hats off to them. This is their seventh annual event. Everybody with an event this size, everybody needs to be pulling in the same direction, and they have a great group supporting this event.
That sounds so exciting, not to mention the amount of brilliant names that you mentioned. I have to ask before we cut to a quick break, does it still get competitive though? Because some of the guys that you've mentioned, when I've heard them talk amongst themselves, any fun things that they've done with each other, or even when they're at their kids' like little league events, it sounds like they're still very competitive.
They are very competitive, these guys in particular. And one person that we all know, Ray Bork, he was competitive for 23 years on the ice, Hall of Famer, competitive every practice. Now, he's not in this lineup, but every alumni game we play, and he plays 2 or 3 a year. He refuses to lose. Even if we're playing little kids, because some of our alumni games, in between our two halves, we'll have the mites come out and play. And he gets out there. We put our high-profile guys out there, and they have a good time. But Ray kind of winds it up. And this one time in particular, he comes across the red line and blisters a slap shot on this little 7-year-old goaltender, right? And we're all going, and he put it up in the top corner. I mean, no room to spare. And we're going, holy bleep. We would never have tried that, let alone, we could have hurt somebody. And we're like, yeah, way to go, Ray. He comes back to the bench, white. He goes, I tried to miss the net. He was so mortified at himself, but his body, he wouldn't let himself not score a goal. And he went up and apologized to the parents. He said, I'm sorry. And they just loved it. They said, no, this was great. The kid didn't even blink. He didn't see it, didn't know what happened. Just went zipping over his shoulder, and the crowd went crazy. So, yeah, these guys, so in events like this, there are going to be some teams that are playing at a fairly high level. There's A, B, and C and D leagues. So there's all different types of players, and that's the way it should be. In our alumni games, we will scale up or down our efforts depending on who we're playing. And some of our games get very competitive. There's no doubt about it. We age out. We don't age out. We average about 54 years old our team. And a lot of the teams we play are in their early 30s, and some with some high-level hockey talent. So we have to sometimes pick it up quite a bit and put the pressure on and do everything, every trick we know to try to win or at least tie, because we don't like to lose either. And we like to say we're undefeated in league play, which means last 3 years we haven't lost a game. And in our regular alumni games, we have been bested by Philadelphia down in Philadelphia and Toronto last year up in Toronto. But those games are fun, and there's three things. We want to help an organization raise money. We want to have fun, for everybody to have fun, and no one wants to get hurt. So those are our three major criterias, and so far so good.
Excellent Ray Bork story. I will be sure next time I see him to remind him of that shot on that 7-year-old. No, I'm kidding. I won't do that to him. I'm sure he's cringing about that, but great story. Paints a picture of, the fun, the competitiveness, and what you can expect from attending a Bruins alumni event. Frank, we have more questions for you if you're okay with that. We have to pay some bills, send it to break. We'll be back in a couple minutes as we want to highlight some other upcoming events with the Bruin alumni. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Hockey Hub. Sophia and Kasey and Frank Simonetti here with you. We convinced them to stay with us for another segment as we went to break, because there's so many great events and great stories that the Bruins alumni can tell us, and events. So, before we get to stories, I really want to pump what you guys have going on. Why don't you talk about the July 4th Face-Off for Heroes and what's happening there?
Yeah, so over the years, the Bruins alumni have become embedded in the Warrior for Life Fund, which is, in its simplest terms, a therapeutic hockey mental health and wellness program that helps out the Naval Special Warfare community, more commonly known as the Navy SEAL community. The Bruins Foundation, Bruins alumni, and Boston Bruins have been big supporters of that organization and have helped it grow. I'm also part of that organization. I've been on the board for about 4 years now, and I'm taking a position as a program manager for the Face Off for Heroes event, which is, as you just mentioned, July 4th in Bozeman, Montana. And what these Face Off for Heroes events is an opportunity for us to bring Naval Special Warfare operators and their families out, either to Boston, which we did last December, Bozeman, which we're doing July 4th, and in San Diego, we're doing August 16th, to give them an experience they wouldn't normally get, playing with and against NHL alumni players. The game we play up in Boston is all Naval Special Warfare against the Boston Bruins alumni, of which last year we brought back the 2011 Stanley Cup team, most of them anyway. In July, we are assembling, we have 10 NHL alumni and one current NHL player, Sam Lafferty from the Buffalo Sabres, who is joining us. And we'll have a round robin tournament where there'll be a draft the night before. The NHL players get drafted onto three teams, which will also include some Army Special Forces players this year, in a round robin tournament. There'll be the draft the night before, the game. There's a rodeo right next to the rink. We're all going to go over and watch the rodeo on Saturday night, on July 4th night. And then on the 5th, which is a Saturday, Kevin Miller, who just built a home in Pony, Montana, is hosting everybody at his home for a barbecue the next day. So it's a 3-day event with a lot of bonding, a lot of experiences for the special operators and their families. The Face Off for Heroes is presented by the NHL. They have come alongside the Warrior for Life Fund because the organization does such a great job of integrating the NHL alumni into most of the key events that they do. And we can't be happier for the support we're getting from the NHL. So that event, we're looking forward to. A lot of work goes into it. It's like herding cats, getting everybody arranged and coordinated, hotels, flights, all the things that go along with it. But it is worth it to see the smiles on the faces of these special operators and their families, and they'll have a lifelong experience after these events are done.
I think that's amazing, and definitely want details on how we can support from Boston while you guys are in Montana. Montana's gorgeous. Grew up a military brat, so my family's actually been really close with the Wounded Warrior events and foundations and everything that we can do for that. I'm the girl that still cries when flyovers happen, but how can we get involved while you guys are in Montana holding that event from Boston or anywhere else?
Well, we're going to have a video crew out there so we can send back some clips if you want to run some things in one of your subsequent shows. If people want to support the Warrior for Life Fund, they can go to warriorforlifefund.org, and they can either become a sponsor or donate outright to the organization to help make this event and all the other events and the support that Warrior for Life Fund provides to these operators. In addition to these games, and I'll just do a quick little side note here, the Human Performance Center that was built last year by the Warrior for Life Fund provides cognitive health and wellness for families, for operators, for spouses. So it's more than just hockey now. So if people want to learn more about what's happening in that community and how they can help, please log on to warriorforlifefund.org.
Thank you, Frank, for that information of how people could help. We have about 2 minutes left with you if you're okay to talk about one more event that's not coming up this summer, but all the way on December 7th, but at the TD Garden, the Shoresy Fall Classic. People who are hockey fans on and off the ice have probably seen clips, if not diehard fans of the show Shoresy. Always good for a good laugh. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what we can expect?
Yeah, for those who don't know, Shoresy is like Slapshot, the TV show. It's really funny. It's
Yes.
wonderful. We played our first game with them last year at BU, November 16th. 6,500 tickets sold out in less than 2 weeks. Tickets will go on sale this Friday for our game at TD Garden. It's a rematch, and they're playing 5 NHL teams in 5 NHL facilities this year. So they are just blowing up. And I'll tell you about last year's event. It's in Boston. It's at BU. 99% of the people there were there to see the Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs. When we were introduced, we got the equivalent of a golf clap. When the Shoresy team was introduced, it's like Jesus and Bobby Orr had just walked through the door. The place went absolutely nuts. And I tell you what, we had the most fun with these guys, and they're very good hockey players. They have the Nolan brothers in Jordan, who won 2 Stanley Cups with the LA Kings. His brother played for the Carolina Hurricanes. Terry played for the Canadians. In Shoresy, Jared Kasey was they're all very good hockey players. And I don't know if they let us win or we won, but it was a 9-8 game. It was close. I know we were trying as hard as we could possibly try to win the game, and we are looking forward to running it back on December 7th. And I've reached out to some of our big name players who I won't name now. They are very interested in playing if their schedule allows. So you can all guess who some of those players might be. We're hoping that their schedules allow them to join us on December 7th, because we're going to blow the roof off of TD Garden.
That is so cool. I honestly, just thinking about Jared Kasey, and I know he's like the brainchild and helps write all these funny shows. Like, just imagine being a kid, wanted to play in the NHL, and then you end up, being an actor, creating the show, and then now you're actually playing in an NHL rink where you're getting fans going crazy for you. Just that whole storyline is so cool.
They're living the dream. There's no doubt about it, and they've earned it. I mean, he works hard on all aspects of the Shoresy brand and Letterkenny brand. And they are the nicest people. They're hockey players, and I don't have to tell you how nice hockey players are. These guys are hockey players, so we'd expect nothing less, and we experienced that firsthand when we played them last year. Looking forward to playing them again this year.
So many great events to look forward to. Thank you for spending time with us on the show, and obviously throughout the summer, maybe we'd love to have you back on to just recap how things went and how things, are looking towards the Bruins season. Frank, thanks again for your time. We do have to send it again to a break, but we'll have you on again. Good luck with the ones that are coming up.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back after this to wrap up the show with Kasey.